welcome ma'am. We have Mr. HR Director, James Defence India. We welcome you, sir. We have with us today Dr. S. Nagasiddharth, CHRO, Urban Piper. We welcome you, sir. Mr. Gulshan, VP Strategic HR, People Tree. We welcome you, sir. Now we have Ms. Head HR, Varsa Network. The wholeheartedly welcome, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I would now like to welcome our beloved morning one and all present here. I am Shruti from second year BBA and I welcome you all to this HR Conclave. Today marks the beginning journey towards our personal as well as academic growth, where we come together to explore, learn and empower ourselves. This conclave is for us, management students, to face a digital future and upskill our skills. It is my absolute pleasure to extend my warmest welcome to our guests of honor. May I now please request who is also our moderator for the day. You're welcome, sir. Various departments and teaching and non-teaching staff, and my dear friends. This conference is your platform to gain valuable knowledge from the industry experts. I'm confident that the insights shared by our guests will inspire and enlighten us. Once again, welcome and thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you, Shruti. Now let us immerse ourselves in the melody of an invocation by Yashaswini. You have set the right tone for today's conclave. Let's continue to ride the waves of inspiration and togetherness. In the spirit of illumination, we will now proceed with the symbolic act of lighting the lamp, signifying the dispelling of darkness and advent of knowledge. I'd like to request our distinguished guests to join us for the lamp lighting ceremony.
जय देव श्री गणपतिराय जय देव श्री गणपतिराय जयकारका भयहारका जयकारक भयहारक ओंकारकाय जय देवा सनिध निध मग मगरि सरि स ग म द नि स सनिध निध म सनिध निध म सनिध निध मग मगरि सरि स ग म द नि स जगदंबೆಯ ಮೈಮಣ್ಣಲಿ ಮೂಡಿದ ಮೂರ್ತಿಗೆ ಮೃಗದರ ನೋಡಿದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಬೇರೆಯ ಕೃತಿಯೇ ಚಿಗುರಾಗಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನಾಲಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದಿನ ದಿನ ಶ್ರುತಿಯೇ ಚಿಗುರಾಗಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನಾಲಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದಿನ ದಿನ ಶ್ರುತಿಯೇ ಹಗಲಾಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನೆನಪೆ ಸುಳ್ಳಾಯಿತು ಮೃತಿಯೇ ಹಗಲಾಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನೆನಪೆ ಸುಳ್ಳಾಯಿತು ಮೃತಿಯೇ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿರಾಯ ಜಯ ದೇವ श्रीगणपतिराय जयकारक भयहारक जयकारक भयहारक ओंकारकाय जय देव. Thank you.
Sector Solutions will come. The startup specializes in OD, leadership development, and business consulting, offering services that align organizational culture, values, and ethics. They provide expert guidance in restructuring, M&A, and large-scale change management, ensuring a smooth transition to a new state. Alumni of IIM Bangalore, certified PPA practitioner, and recipient of HR and Business Excellence Award. Over 30 years of experience in journalist HR roles. Currently heads L&D for a large MNC in India. Successfully managed business strategy, resolved a strike with zero Mandy loss. Held leadership roles at ISTD, chaired Bangalore chapter, hosted conferences, jointly organized HR events. Panel speaker at IIM Bangalore and CII summits. Member of CII Southern Region HR Subcommittee. Global exposure through trips and symposium in the US, Germany, and Asia Pacific. Thank you.
I invite Ms. Naina to introduce our esteemed moderator and guests.
So as a senior human resource professional with 16 plus years of experience, so has demonstrated great leadership qualities in managing end-to-end HR process. So has diverse industry experience in IT products and services, e-commerce and retail and manufacturing. So has international exposure in APAC regions such as India, China, Malaysia as well as Singapore. So is an expert in various HR portfolios such as HR operations and planning, talent engagement and management, employee relation and compliance. Thank you, sir. It's my privilege to introduce Ms. Rosina Jose, Associate Director of Rakuten India. Rakuten India is the second largest technological hub outside of Japan that enables and builds platforms, global e-commerce, payments, digital AI and data science. Ma'am has experience over a decade in the field of HR leadership. Ma'am is an expert in HRBP, L&OD and employee relation. Ma'am has led impactful projects in the HR process, restructuring career projection and leadership development. Ma'am has received prestigious awards including the TA Pi Top 100 HR Leader Award and 3 AI Awards for top HR professionals in AI and analytics. Ma'am covers a broad spectrum from employee engagement to statutory compliance. Thank you, ma'am. Ashish Manoj from BB Aviation first semester. It's my honor to introduce our speaker, Mr. Saravanan Muridharan, for his courtesy accepted our invitation. James Defense Limited, data is reverse.
Delighted to introduce our speaker, Zarna Trivedi, who has graciously accepted our invitation to join us today. Ma'am is an experienced HR leader, mentor, and keynote speaker. 17 plus years HR leader in management and development, passionate about DEI, certified trainer, versatile expertise, HR function strategic, tactical insights, HR leadership award recipient, active in promoting progressive HR practices, engages as a speaker and mentor, expert in organizational development, strategic planning, stakeholder management, talent management, and total reward strategies, aligns human capital agenda with business strategy. Thank you.
I invite Mr. Ashish to give an introduction of our guests. Mr. Ashish. Now I'd like to invite Ms. Sindhu to introduce our guest.
To be leading the organizations or having their own businesses, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, whatever suits you. Some may also go to education field, as you know, few of our current set of professors are there. So I think we are very, very blessed to be among the people who are going to be the future of this, not only the country, but could be some of you could be leading something in the world as well. And now, because we come back to the topic, which is quite interesting for me, and as well as some of the panelists, I had some time to have a brief discussion while we were traveling from your main campus to this place. So what we are talking about is, one is preparing for digital future. That's one part I take it. And then we are also talking about capacity building and upskilling for the grads or undergrads, as you may say. So three things which emerged in this case. One is digitally educating people. They get qualified. The second portion is upskilling, how to upskill. So first phase of anything to start with is coming from educating. Okay? So when we say, sometimes we talk about digital literacy. All of us are digitally literate, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Great. So literacy is something which is at the first level or the starting level. And then we come to education, which means qualification, qualified. And that's where further you go for capacity building. Now capacity building may have few imperatives, and digital qualification also may have few imperatives, which we are going to deliberate in front of you with the help of the eminent speakers here. So we are well aware, I think some of you may know or all of you may know, there is a Digital India campaign which was started by Government of India in the year 2015. And therefore they want to put most of the things on e-governance, e-khata, everything, digitally they want to make, which makes a lot of, hard work, lot of understanding you need to go about, and we are going to talk about some of the pros and cons also about digitally being aware or qualified.
Good morning everyone, I Sindhusri from 5th Sim BPA. I take immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Naga Siddharth sir, current Chief Human Resource Officer at Urban Piper. Sir has completed his Master of Business Administration from MP Birla Institute of Management, a Bachelor of Engineering from BMS College of Engineering. Sir has a diverse work experience of 17 years in the field of human resource and organization development. He is the author of highly recommended book on authenticity and leadership impact. Thank you, sir. I feel honored to introduce Mr. Gulshan S., Vice President, Strategic HR at People Tree. Sir has worked as Director, Strategic HR at Near.go, holding an experience of 7.5 years. He is a Project Officer for International Recruitment at Lovely Professional University, and also with an experience of 14 years in HR with focusing on scaling and leading HR functions and
These insightful introductions, our distinguished speakers cease to be unfamiliar leaders. Now they become members and guides on the journey we are about to embark. With this, let the conclave unfold. May the exchange of ideas be as vibrant as the minds gathered here. Looking forward to enjoy this intellectual session that awaits us. Respected dignitaries, we request you to take over now. Thank you all.
CXOs on aligning people's strategies with business goals. Thank you, sir.
Or digital qualification for the youngsters. What are your views? Because you come from active employment, you're working in industries which are doing very, very well, and you do take freshers. You of course not only take, sometimes you do interact with freshers for some reason or the other. And therefore, what are your thoughts on digital education or educating youngsters on having a competence or qualification on digital aspects? So whoever wants to start first can.
Which you all are fortunate. Probably we never had so much data. So if my college professor would give me an assignment, I had to go to Central Library, find the best books from where I could get data. But you all are so fortunate that you can sit at home and get data what you want, at the click of a button. So I think that's what you all are blessed with. The faster learning curve, that is something which is currently present. So you have a lot of courses to help you upgrade yourselves. So what I see from when you graduate from your college to corporate, we have special programs called Campus to Corporate and many programs like this to ensure that you assimilate faster into the corporate world. But still there are certain things where I really find gap is in terms of communication. So I think you need to own your communication skills, both verbal and written. So what helped me in my career was, enrolling myself in something called Toastmasters, which if you browse through, you'll be able to find. So I request all of you all to go through this and try to be part of this community, because that really helps you upskill your language. Yeah, because we work in global audience, and communication is very, very important. So I'll tell you an example of my own organization where it's a Japanese organization, and I've been here for the last 4+ years. And in Japan, if you go back to the history and how Japanese organizations work, most of their population don't speak English. Okay, that's a major roadblock for them. And our founder started acquiring organizations, and he found that communication was one of the biggest barriers for them to help evolve in the current, technological era. And he took up Englishnization as a project, and which is so successful that 80% of the entire population in Japan can speak English. So I think if they can do it, we are very fortunate that in India, most of our education is through the medium of English. Yeah, so that's something which you really need to focus on. Next, I think the most important skill which you need to develop is the behavioral skills. Like all of us, grow up, like, others were saying, in different backgrounds. But what happens when you enter the corporate workforce, the expectations there is very different. Here you bunk class, you still get attendance. But there, you are responsible for your work. No one is going to help you, do your work. If you don't do your work, we have, not to scare you all, something called performance improvement plan, which really ensures that you meet, the goals of the organization. So please ensure that, you set the right expectations whenever you get into the corporate world. Yeah, so it's very important to have a buddy when you join the workforce and learn a lot from that particular person. Yeah? And with digitization, I think it's also very important to draw the line. For example, when I take my work life examples back home, my father used to say that I used to come back home at 4 o'clock, and then he spends time with all of us. But right now, I think I don't know whether fortunate or unfortunate, I don't get the privilege of spending so much time with my child, because I go back home, I have another email, we have our own product called Viber, which is something equal to a WhatsApp. The Viber keeps going, and the expectation of the organization is also that you need to reply quick, because that's the Japanese way of working. So there is, I would say, no line between work and life. So probably digitization, I don't think is good beyond a certain point. Yeah. So I think you really need to learn to draw that line as well as to how much work you take back home. So that's also something very important. But that said, I think the first 5 years of your career, you really need to work hard, because there's no shortcut to success, and you really have to prove yourself. Next, I think with so much data around, you also tend to lose attention and focus. I believe the attention span for the current generation is decreasing every year. So that's something which you really need to focus on as to what you need in life. So I think you need to have your goal sheet in place. You have your weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, whatever, and ensure that you stick to your goals, because with so much of distraction around us, we tend to lose focus. So please ensure that you stick around that as well. Some of the examples, not to scare you all, but to help you all understand that how digitization has also helped our organization. So majority of the business in our organization is from e-commerce. So the focus area or the go-to market for them is Japan. So Japan is prone to earthquakes. Now what they have introduced is something called drone technology to deliver things home. So certain places which is highly prone to earthquake. So these kind of places, we have drones delivering the goods what people order online. Okay, so that's something which has evolved, and then we are working on something called AI in the field of medicine. So what the scientists, the data scientists they are working on is with photoimmunotherapy, that's light, how do you treat cancer? That's the first stage of cancer. So this is something which is evolving, and I think this will help the world going forward. Yeah. And AI in fintech, that's again another area which people are working on. Now someone told about GPay, Google Pay and things like that, and I think she was mentioning about how do you pay without internet. So this is something which we've already developed and implemented for the Japanese market. So I think these are the examples from workplace what I could think about. But digitization is not to take away jobs, but these are fields which is evolving, and I think we need to ensure that we keep up to date with these technologies. Yeah. With that, I think I'll pass it on to Disha.
We are not finished yet. Sorry for inconvenience. I'll call you when we are free for the Q&A. Right? Thank you. So our idea was, for all of us, to throw some indicators for you what exactly the education means if you are talking about digital. What is digitally qualified means, it's not only you going like somebody said, everybody cannot be a coder, everybody cannot be a programmer, but how you leverage that knowledge and how much knowledge do you need. I have a very silly example which I want to share with you. One of the days, I'm also a member of a professional society, and we were traveling from Bengaluru to Chennai through by train, Shatabdi. Now, when you're free, 3, 4 of you or 5, 6 of us, then somebody has booked a ticket for you, for everybody. Now you want to transfer the money. It's very easy, because you can transfer through UPI. Now, one of the friends who was wanting to transfer the money, the other person says, no, it is not accepting. So I am not able to transfer money, he said. And then everybody is contemplating what to do. And I am not saying I am a great guy, I am a very great educated, on digital this thing, but just I have some interest in it, and that's what, makes you stand out sometimes. So then I said, okay, you open your page for the person for whom you have to transfer. And your profile you should open on the UPI, whichever UPI you are using, and you have the QR code there. The moment you scan on the QR code, you can pay directly, because you are next to each other, somewhere around. You don't need to put the phone number or the contact and everything. It happened. And therefore they said, yeah, you are highly qualified. I said, no, I am not qualified. It's just common sense. I thought, what's the solution to this? Now imagine what was the ripple effect of this. So they said, we want to learn. I said, for sure. And everybody, 5, 6 of them said, please teach us how it should be done, number one. By chance, the person, in Shatabdi, they serve coffee, tea and snacks and everything. One of the guys who was serving, he saw everything happening and something happening on the UPI. Then he came to me, sir, I have a problem. I said, no, I am not a master of anything. If you have a problem. They said, no, sir. And he was from Chhattisgarh, not far off. And he said, I'm unable to transfer money and all that for my family. And he had this issue with the passcode or something. He says it doesn't come. So, out of curiosity, I tried for resetting the password for him. And what was the, let's say, for me, the gratuity from him, he brought a fresh coffee for me and some biscuits and everything, and everybody is looking at me, who the hell this VIP is here? And my friends started, telling me from this side and this side, hey, hamare ko bhi coffee mangwa do, garam coffee mangwa do. So sometimes, the knowledge which you gather out of interest or out of curiosity also makes you important. Now, there is nothing great I did. Any one of you can do it, The point we all want to make here is that the industry is looking at inquisitive people who want to learn and also share. You can do some things which you gather, keep it with you. There are things which you share with others, and there are things which everybody said you have to give back. So giving back is also very, very important sometimes. Anyway, we'll come to one more point of discussion for all of you. everybody talks about what's important, why we should do it, and when we talk about specifically digital qualification, digital knowledge, there's so much is happening on the negative side as well. Some hacking happens, some phishing happens, whatever you may call it, and there are instances where people may use it for their benefit and for the giving some kind of difficulty for the other person to handle. Organizations sometimes grapple with this, individuals grapple with this. So therefore, what I would like this esteemed panel, I think Zanna, we'll start with you. What are the kind of do's and don'ts when we are looking at ourselves to be qualified or enabled on digital aspects? Plus, if there are any other things, and I throw it open, some of you mentioned, communication, knowledge in English, for example, when you talked about Toastmasters Club, and you also spoke about this. These are all the things which also we need to tell. Industry is not only about digitization and all. Yes, Industry 4.0 talks about it. Machine learning, yes. AI, yes. AR, VR, everything. But at the end of the day, even if you are very well digitally qualified, if you cannot summate your qualities, and if you cannot explain, it's of no use, whatever knowledge you may have. So I must also be able to understand how are you going to help my organization, how are you going to help others in the organization, and how are you going to help yourself, rather than being a pain or a complainer for me. So I think let's open up on this, and what are the skills, do's and don'ts we need to be careful about.
Thank you so much, Atul. So I think it's a very important question and very important for all of us to understand while we are keeping ourselves digitally enabled all the time. There is a lot of hacking that is also happening around us, right? Right from your phone. Anybody can just send you one message and you just click on the link without even understanding what it may take you to. It will, in no time take away all your data from your phone. So it's very, very important whether you are into, IT side or not, whether you are trying to take your career into IT or non-IT, irrespective of that, each one of us need to be digitally sound as so much that we ensure that we keep our data secure, and at the same time we follow ethical guidelines to ensure that we keep others' data secure. We do not get into the other side of the road as well, right? And maybe as an institute, you can also introduce, kind of courses or sessions on, how to be digitally responsible, for all the students, right? Because they are at an age or in the stage where they are coming across a lot of data and getting carried away. A new app is being introduced and they would all want to explore without even understanding its side effect, right? Not every digitally looking thing which is good necessary to be beneficial, right? There has to be there are its pros and cons. My dad taught me one simple thing when since my childhood he kept on telling me, and that's why I just embedded in my mind that you will come across a lot of things and various kind of people in front of you, right? Or there will be a lot of options for that matter in your life. What to pick is up to you. How much to grab is up to you. So you need to just give a pause, think twice, and understand and question yourself whether it is right thing to do or not, right? You can be digitally, sound, but at the same time, if your ethics are not right, then it's of no use. So it's important for you to be ethically responsible as well. Understand, and for that you need to also learn the very simple things like about courses on data security, basics of it at least, Apart from that, other courses are anyways there, like which maybe a college can introduce or you can learn on your own, and it's available in the market, at a very reasonable rates also, or even for free. Something like Power BI, analytics, right? So while we are learning all of these basic things, which anybody, irrespective of any functions that you are choosing, need to have, you need to also understand how to be ethically responsible for your data that you are using for yourself and for others. So I think taking responsibility for yourself is very important. That's what I would like to say. Thank you.
Almost towards the end, but yeah, I'll try to cover up with whatever I have written down.
A camera which is like big in size. Then we had a landline telephone number, and we had to go out to scan things. Then we had a tape recorder which was like big, and television and all that stuff. Now everything is just in one small instrument. So you guys are fortunate. I mean, we are here fortunate too, but a little old. But still, I mean, I think that's the whole crux I'm trying to say is digital is not a term. Digital is a way of life, right? It is a way of life. Today we are living that. Only thing is we are upgrading ourselves. It's upgrading faster than what we think it is, right? We cannot learn and just say, for example, I'm HR professional with 20 years. If I'm not learning, I wouldn't be in HR today. I mean, continuous learning, which means learning is going to be on an ongoing basis, and you have to keep updating yourself. Like for example, today I have to get my hands on ChatGPT or AI because I mean those were the days when we started. I was on the shop floor, in TVS. I was IR manager. It's called Industrial Relations. So that's where we started. There was no computer for me for 2 years. I didn't even have a desktop. Okay, so we have seen that part of the world, and today we are talking about technology, right? The most important part that I just want to leave it here, and I'll keep it brief. There is no point in being a generalist. I mean, I'm a HR generalist, but that doesn't mean that I'm not specializing in something. You have to specialize in something that you think you're good at, right? You can't, if you're just thinking, okay, I'll do a 9 to 5 job, I'll get paid whatever that is, I'll just do kind of an administrative job. That's a different thing altogether. Again, there are many risks there as well, right? You don't have a job guarantee. But if you specialize in something and you make your mark for something, like for example, they say that artificial intelligence is taking out jobs, right? But there are people who are still working on it. Who are those people are humans, right? What is special in them? Because they are good at something. So I think you need to aim for that, rather than thinking that I'm one in the crowd and I'll get impacted if something happens. And other important thing I just want to say, this is in the context of digital itself, is the fact that you have to be on top of data all the time. Right? Data is everything. I think NRM used to say data is God, right? I mean, in a sense, like everything else you cannot prove anything, but if data is there, you can prove everything, right? So today, that is the context we work on. I have to be on top of data all the time so that I talk facts. So So what I'm trying to say is, don't read things just for just without any aim. Think about what are you reading, what is the purpose of you reading, and keep data on top of mind. I think that's what is going to take you to places. So I leave it with the parting remark of saying that be a specialist in something. Yeah, thanks.
For some reason, everyone's looking this way, so there's nobody here. The presenter ran away. So. Good morning, friends, organizers, chairperson, and everyone. Ashish Conclave in absentia. Thanks for having us here. Delighted. I had no clue there was a college in the middle of nature. And very, very encouraging to see a fair deal of diversity here. Of students. So basically, wish you all the best. To start with, like Sir said, I'm sure you guys are going to be great. You're going to do well, and you have all the potential to do whatever you need to do. Right now, it's just a question of. That's fine. Happens. That's life, right? Happens. So I think a couple of things. If you look at digital and the nature of jobs that have been there, I'll just take around 2-3 minutes, sir, if that's okay. I think to begin with,
I mean, I've been around for around 20, 22 years in the industry doing HR. So I must have done some 20,000 interviews, right? Every day 3 interviews ho jate hain, right? At least 3 interviews a day. So I think successful people who first step is to clear the interview, right? For any job. Or at least you should know what to look for in the other person if you are going to run a business. So I think the first thing is growth mindset. Growth mindset, I mean, just make a note of it if you want to. There are beautiful videos on YouTube. Find out what is the growth mindset and what's the fixed mindset, right? Because I think the fundamental thing is each of you is an entrepreneur for your own career. Don't stand under the apple tree and wait for the apple to fall on your head or in your hand, right? You got to figure out ways to go and pluck it for yourself and eat it, right? So if you got to do that, you got to arm yourself with a mindset that helps you. And try and figure out what's the growth mindset, what's the fixed mindset. Here's a hint. Satya Nadella used a lot of it when he was turning Microsoft around. Okay, so it's definitely something that works. Get a peer for yourself, a good friend, a bad friend, whoever, but then try and work in pairs. It always works when you have someone who works in pairs with you. That's why even snipers in the army work in pairs. When there are 2 people, there's one person looking out for you and then you're doing something. Similarly, you look out for that person when he or she is doing something. There are some controllables, there are some uncontrollables, right? I mean, if we look at digital and so on, I was in a Microsoft presentation a month ago, and I think many of us panel members were also probably attending one of those. The latest AI engine takes roughly 45 seconds to make a presentation, which otherwise took a management trainee 1.5 days to make. Okay, that Insight engine does 1 week worth of analysis of any analytics grad who used to take 1 week and then rework it and go back. So 2 weeks of work has been compressed to roughly 75 seconds, right? So this is the technology that's already launched, by the way. There are people who are using it. So all you need to do is pick up the entire database, throw it at the machine and say, okay, find out for me, right? Not even ask a question. Till now AI used to be, can you please find out about ABCD, right? Now it's gone to one more level of management training internship, right? You just give the data and say, you go figure out, I am busy. So AI has gone to that level. And the good news is, you don't need to do the grunt work anymore. If you are able to work with that level of technology support that is already there, you can do work of a higher order. So don't get shaken up that, arey, mera kya hoga? Right? People always thought people who could add numbers in their head, when the first calculator appeared, they also thought mera kya hoga? Right? And people who could use a calculator, when the computers came, banks went on strikes. This was 25, 30 years ago, right? So don't bother about AI, but then don't sit in the past. Try and learn. Like I said, each of you are your own entrepreneurs. You are running your own career business, right? So try and, okay. No, I'm good, ma'am. I'm good. I'll have it later. Thank you. The second is, how many of us come from a rural agricultural background? Raise your hand. Beautiful, amazing, thank you very much. Don't sit in cities and expect to find something or something will find you. You have come from a context that is very rich in a country like India. Try and pick up what you learned here with a digital mindset to go back and improve things there. Because that's where the money is sitting. Right? Yeah, you will have all kinds of politics, right? You will have regional politics, you will have caste politics, you will have family politics, you will have extended family politics, you will have crop politics, you will have all of it. And tell me where there are no politics. You need to know how to manage it. Right? So stop assuming that if you get 92% in your exam, everything will become alright. Life doesn't work like that. I'm not saying all of you fail, then your principal will not let me back, I'll have to go back walking. Right? So it's a very far away place. So don't do that. Right? So again, reiterating, you're an entrepreneur for your own career, start with the growth mindset, find a peer, right? And all the digital learning, right? Prepare for the digital future. Future, that is because this slide was made 1 month ago. Digital future is already here. It's not later. after 5 years, 10 years, it's already here. It's passed by, it's passing by, right? So if you love your mobile, if you love, what is it? TikTok's banned now. What's the other thing? Instagram. No, Instagram, and there's one more thing. Yeah. See, your Princey knows. Give him a round of applause for that. Yeah. So Snapchat, Snapshare, Snap, and then exam marks go Snap. There must be few profs sitting at the back. No, wait, I'll see. Okay. So I think finally, keep the fundamentals in place. Okay. Now we have some controllables in our lives. There are some uncontrollables. Okay. The family that I was born into, the context I was raised in, neighbors, friends, etc. sometimes become uncontrollables, because of which my exposure gets shaped by that. People ask, are leaders born or made? Right? The first truth is they have to be born in some maternity hospital. Okay. After that they are made. Okay. Now how they are made is in our hands. Okay. And one of the basic things that people are not paying attention to is the spoken language. English is, as of now, I don't know after 5 years, I don't know after 10 years, but as of now, English, please ensure your English is really good. Because that is one thing that makes people very successful. Make peace with it. Don't keep on fighting with it in your head. Okay? I'm not saying, regional language not required. I'm not saying any of that. Right? If I, for example, say get a good mentor, am I saying don't talk about your parents or stop talking to your parents? I'm not saying that. Similarly, your native language is your foundation. Right? Don't let go of that. At the same time, become extremely good with your English. Extremely good, because I have seen it is a clear differentiator for people who get jobs, are able to connect across the world, and are able to become whatever they want to call as success. You can't determine where you grew, who were your friends, whether your teachers in college were good in English, not good. Stop complaining. It's over now. Right? Or you want to take 2 days, put a room and crib for 2 days, do that. Go to a hotel, crib for 2 days, forget about cribbing after that, come out. New life. Right? So, just a few things again. Entrepreneurs, you're the entrepreneur of your career. Start with the growth mindset. Digital first is already here. Go back to the roots. Look at opportunities around you. Right? Don't try to replicate what others have done. You don't want to be a Xerox copy, right? The original book is $300, Xerox copy is only 30 rupees. We used to do kerosene Xerox. ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರ್ ಅದು? ಇದೆಯಾ? ಎಷ್ಟದು? 30 ಪೈಸೆನಾ? ಈಗ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು 50 ಪೈಸೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದು ಪೇಟಿಎಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. You can give it in Paytm. Right? So this is a fact. And finally, I just want to wish you all the best. Thanks for having me here again. These are few of my thoughts around upskilling. Upskilling is not with anybody else's thing. Typically, I start with the question, were you all sent here or did you come here? Right? That's what you'll say. Right? But I think going forward, the difference is whether you upskill yourself or you're waiting for someone to upskill you. Right? So with that, all the best. Thank you.
So I'll speak on little lighter note. So see, the education you are getting today is very, very foundational, and it is important. So 3 years, 2 years degrees that you are doing is very foundational. AI will not be able to, just make it obsolete. So it is foundational, but it is not sufficient to get you jobs of the future. The jobs happening 20 years ago has now evolved. The jobs happening today will evolve again 10 years, maybe at a faster rate. Banking sector, if you look 20 years ago, we would have never imagined not going to the bank and still transfer, stand in the queue and make all the transactions. But now phone is your complete banking. 90% of banking operations are now digital. So the old clerk 20 years ago, the role still exists, but it has evolved. So maybe he was doing 100 transactions, one person in a day. Now he can do 1,000 transactions in a day. So as a workforce of the future, you have to think for those kind of skill set which can make you more productive. There are numerous courses along with your graduation that you can do, that your college might be offering, or there are immense number of online educators now that you can grab those opportunities while you're on vacation, 10 days or 2 months vacation you have, you can upskill yourself, but do something what you really like doing. Don't try to pursue the market, okay, because technology is like moving, mujhe coding hi karna hai. No, don't do that. Not everyone can become coders or data scientists, and you don't need to be. You just have to be adaptable to these technologies and understand how you can leverage this technology to do your job. Be you are a professor, teacher, banker, anyone in the market. You can use this technology in your favor and be more productive. And the corporate world only look for productive people, right? It will never say, okay, I don't want people from this stream or that stream, I only want coder. It doesn't work like that. A lot of coding work is now also automated. So somebody who just knows only doing coding may be obsolete sometime in the future. They have to evolve into a new role, right? So that is my input for all of you, that focus on your current studies. It is very foundational. But at the same time, do some extra courses which you can, when you go out for interviews in the future, it will really help you to reflect that yes, you have worked really hard and pursued your passion and did some additional courses on those lines. And world is a global village now. Whatever is happening in Harvard, you can just click on a website and you can find out, okay, what are the course content going on there, read about it. Majority of the professors are online, right? You learn from your own professor as a first step, dive deeper into it, and learn online. Use not just for Snapchat or Instagram reels. Like, go on YouTube, it's a university in itself and it's absolutely free. So even if you are from village, small town, it doesn't matter at all nowadays. So those are thoughts from my end, and I think the digital workforce will contribute immensely to the GDP of India in the future. So make sure that we are working on the same lines. It's not just the responsibility of educational institutes, it's also the industry, and the government has to support. They're already doing it through national education policy. In fact, I think UGC on Thursday issued new guidelines that higher education institutes can offer short-term skill development programs. So you will see very soon your colleges introducing short-term programs, skill-based program, not just theoretical. So participate in that, leverage that. I think that's it.
One trend, what I keep seeing, with the new age group which is coming into workforce is forwarding a lot of things, because we have a lot of data at our disposal. So I think this is something which you really need to be mindful of when you move into corporate. So we have different groups, like, he mentioned about, how tight the security is for every platform what we use. So we get access to different channels to communicate, like it could be Microsoft Teams or Slack or various modes of communication. So in a professional setup, so here what happens, all of you all are in the same age group, yeah? But when you enter a workforce, you could be working in a project where you have folks in different age groups. So the way you interact with every person differs. So it's a very different environment. So I think, so that is a place where you need to be very mindful of the data, what you share, even within your workplace community. So that is one thought. And the other thought what I had is, like how he mentioned that he's working in a defense project. So is many other projects, in the corporate sector, where you cannot transfer your personal data cannot be transferred from your official devices. So there are certain policies, practices put in place, which also you should be learning as soon as you enter the workforce. So I think these are tips which is easily available, on Google, on YouTube, or any channel what you have access to. And like he said, please go through InfoSec trainings. Once you enter workforce, also you have a lot of InfoSec trainings about do's and don'ts in a workplace. But I think still it's good that you learn or pick up these skills right before you enter the workforce. Yeah, with that I think I'll pass it on.
I'll give a very real life example of ethical and ethical, where we use it, we know it, all of us know it. UPI technology, we all know it. Somebody has created it for us for ease of transactions, right, within milliseconds. And there's a technology at the back end. But somebody who knew that technology also created a link for you where he can, pull out your personal money out of it. So both the person knows the same technology, knows how it works, but one is ethical, one is unethical. So it's a very moral, at the back end, it's a very moral situation that which side you want to pick on. There's no shortcut in life for success. You have to go through the grind to reach the top. But sometimes when you want to, we are influenced by Instagram reels and all these sci-fi videos. You think, okay, no, let's try to do it quickly, and you compromise on your moral values. That is when you try to look for a shortcut. Don't do that. Go through the grind. It will give you a very long runway in life. Be ethical, because it's our responsibility to lead this world as a good example, not as a bad example. And for the upcoming future, workforce like you and you for the next generation, lead by example. Work on a moral grounds. While technology is here to help our work be more productive, but at the same time, there's always a leverage of misusing it. So let's not go on the other side. Stay on the right side and lead by example.
Really fruitful discussion, and it's quite captivating, I would say. The audience is very well captivated. We'll rather open, for some questions, so that if you have any questions, please do feel free. You can raise your hand and then put your question.
Initiatives. And sir has proved it. Yes.
You are the only doctor on this.
As long as you don't ask this question, I'm okay.
I'm just kind of giving a real-time example to them that those who take initiative always are on the advantage side, because they always have opportunity to speak their mind out, right? There's always a fear in the back of our mind that how to take initiatives, or we wait for others to take initiatives, like we all were looking at him, but he unfortunately didn't have a choice because there was nobody else next to him, right? Okay, so with that note, the point I'm trying to say here is you need to learn to take initiatives. Come out of the fear or any kind of a hesitation, first of all, that is there in the back of your mind, right? Whatever you are learning today, I'm sure your college is ensuring that the curricular that is introduced to you, it is in line with what industry is expecting, because I'm seeing that already they have taken initiatives and they are taking a lot of efforts to collaborate with other industry and understand their expectations. So that is something that is their headache. You don't have to worry about. Your responsibility is to take initiatives, multiple initiatives. When I say initiatives, there is a lot of learning that involves in it, in that word. And that will be possible only when you take initiatives. Initiatives of understanding what's your area of interest that you are good at or you could be good at, right? You are fortunate that at this time when you are not gone into your masters, you are getting this opportunity to hear the industry expert, or your college is taking so many initiatives. You need to take the full advantage of it, right? Make the mentor, collaborate with industries. Nowadays it becomes very easier. Reach out to people, socialize yourself through LinkedIn, and try to understand, make some mentor, right? And understand what is required to be done. First of all, understand your areas of strength and weaknesses, your strength, make them so powerful that you can gain out of it, right? Technologies will always keep changing, and it has always been there. This topic is definitely not new. It was there in my time when I was in college. It was there in my dad's time when he was in college. For them, technology was like dealing with any phone. For my time, recently, in fact, about a month back, I've upgraded myself from an Android to iPhone, and I was so scared. Believe me, I was really nervous about it. I literally did not open my iPhone unless until I went to a shop and told them, you open, I don't know how to even switch it on. Can you believe it? I've been in my IT industry all my life, all my career, but still I was afraid of, starting iPhone, right? So, and that's one of the reasons I've taken iPhone, not to show off. Right? Because I really wanted to learn. You need to challenge yourself that there is nothing that you cannot learn, right? So try to understand what are the digital certifications available.
getting digitally skill is one thing, and certified yourself, right, for those skills will ensure and increase your employment opportunity by the time you reach to that level, right? So this is the right time, you have enough time in your hand, make best use of it, right? Look out for a lot of learnings outside. In fact, now you don't have to go to an institute, or everything should not necessary to be very expensive outside. Sitting at your desk, there are a lot of YouTubers, there are a lot of channels, there are a lot of institutes who are providing free knowledge. Try to gain it. Unlearn and learn. You need to have a right attitude in place. What you need to understand is to have the right attitude, right? When you are saying, oh, I've got an admission into a nice college, now they'll take care of the placement, let me tell you, it's a wrong notion. Just getting into a good institute, even if you are in, IIM or in the best of the IITs, doesn't guarantee you the placement unless until you have that attitude within you to learn, to upskill yourself, right? And that is something that you have to do. You can imagine, I can see that, when you raise your hand, I think 70 or 80% of you are from the agricultural background, right? Imagine how much of hard work or how much of ambitions your parents had for you, right? Or how much of ambitions you have for yourself before you got into this. So never forget yourself on that. Keep reminding yourself, I have to be there. So you have to always write down your goals in a diary, or wherever you are comfortable, or in a phone, which keeps on reminding you every single day about your target, what you need to achieve, and work towards it, right? And if required, take knowledge from outside, take guidance from outside. We all are there to support you. Reach out to us, right? See, we will not take initiatives to reach out to you just because we are in your context. There are thousands of people in my LinkedIn account, but not everybody will reach out to me, right? Those who reach out to us will be happy to help, will be happy to mentor them, right? So certify yourself, train yourself, keep learning, and when it comes to not only digitally being expert, but stay grounded, understand. So do not forget what you are already learning. When you are going for an interview, even now, or when you in your PG also, you will be asked what you have done, what kind of projects. So take projects very carefully, depending on your area of interest. Once you decide these are the skills that I want to pursue, these are the areas that I want to go, try to take a project related to that. And don't do just project like a copy paste, okay? You need to understand what you are learning out of it. That is what you need to show. Interviewer is not really interested in understanding what are your hobbies. They are more interested, they ask you about your hobbies because they want you to, come out. They want you to speak, right? So instead of that, try to focus on your project that you are going to do. There are a lot of social projects that you can probably, guide them to take up, where your expertise would be required. PayPal, for example, the GPay, for example, right? Today we can all do a GPay or various way of payment, digital payment, but for that internet is required, right? Why don't you think of a project where you can make the payment without internet, right? So make a group of same-minded people, keep discussing ideas, and you don't have to really at the end of the day get placed with somebody else. You can be your own entrepreneur, right? How many of you are a blogger here? I think we were discussing that on the way, that half of them are your YouTube, you must be having the YouTube channel, or at least some of your friends you would have seen, right? And it's not just that, you would have already gained skills into a lot of things. My 8-year-old daughter, she's busier than me, she goes to so many classes because she doesn't like to sit back and home and watch TV. Even if she's watching TV, it will be something knowledgeable, and she will come and tell me, this is what I've seen, this is what it is. It could be history, or it could be science, or whatever, and she's very much clear what she wants to do at this age. When you are in 5th class, you are introduced to Python, right? So technology, what I'm trying to say is, by the time you graduate, by the time you go to your masters, technology would have been something else. It would not be same as what you are learning, but it will ensure that you have learned the basic, your foundations, your fundamentals are very strong. If you don't know basics of your computers, would you be able to understand the language? You won't be, or be it AI or anything, right? So having a right mindset is very important, and learning and being focused is the most important above anything else, and everything else will automatically follow. Don't worry about the salary, don't worry about the designation, all those things will automatically follow. Knowledge is the key over here. If you have the right attitude and if you have the right knowledge, salary will automatically follow. People will, the first question is how much are you offering, right? And we would like to ask you how much are you offering to us in terms of the knowledge, right? Believe me, I didn't know what would be my first paycheck until I got my first salary after joining. Until maybe about a month and a half. Because first month I joined middle of the month, so I was on a pro tab. I did not have my offer letter also until then. Right? All I looked at is the profile. What is there for me. But I knew that 15 years down the line, this would be the profile that I want to be into. This would be the salary that I will be drawing. I knew it very clearly because I was so much into it. My focus was very clear. Right? So that is very important. I would not really talk about anything high funda which you would not be able to understand, and that's the reason I'm just talking about certain things which I think should be helpful to you. Otherwise, if there is any other question at the end of the panel discussion, we are always open. Thank you so much.
Covered by Zarna. So what I would say is never believe anything on the face of it when it comes to digital. I think that is the important part. These days, you're talking about, you're not even actually searching, you're just talking about something and then the ad comes up on your phone, right? So there is nothing, there is no secrecy anymore. Everyone knows what you're planning to buy. And then there are offers and things like that. And another thing is that if you really look at it, nowadays how the fraud happens also is like, so knowing that, you're talking about something, I'm going to buy a TV or whatever, there will be a kind of a message to your phone where it will be looking like an authentic email ID, but again it is not. It will have a very small tweak somewhere which will actually kind of prompt you to click on it. I think what is more important as you students also is the fact that you need to educate your parents. I think that is important because they might not be aware of a lot of things that's happening in the world, but you're reading, you're seeing things. And so I think it's important that you educate them as well. But as I said, just don't believe by the face of it. Just be careful about what you're using your phones for, because these days I think within seconds money gets pulled out of your account. One phone call is enough. It just they tap into it. One OTP is enough. Your money is gone. So I think you need to be extra. You need to have extra precautionary measures. For example, organizations. What we do is, we can't use our personal phone, for emails and chatting on Microsoft Teams. So we have been given company phone, which is only used for work, and it is encrypted. It's kind of double protected and all that stuff. So none of the data goes out, and we work on defense data, so which is like very critical and very super sensitive, right? And similarly, you just can't access a laptop and then start working. There are 2-3 measures you have to do before you enter your email, right? Your mailbox. So organizations are getting more and more into that, where they are putting a lot of cyber security, measures in place. InfoSec is what it is called, information security, which is actually kind of in the talk right now. I'm sure Rosina and all can agree to that, because all these organizations have stringent measures with regard to security. Thanks.
Fantastic speakers here. I'm sure everyone would have enjoyed it a lot because I was in the back. I'm the main coordinator as well, but I really wanted to be on the front row and jotting down all the points exactly. And I'm sure everyone over here would be interested and would be very eager to interact with you all. So before this, I would like to just brief it up a few guidelines. Okay, we are shortage of little bit of time, so we will try to wind it up within the time, and if not, we can carry up with this networking session, okay? And people who want to ask questions, please raise your hand. I will be bringing my mic to you.
I have been warned to keep my talk to a few minutes, so I'll do that. First point, when you start your interviews, don't start with myself so and so. That is the biggest problem in all interviews. You lost half the game there. Say that I am so and so, okay, or do something like that. This is a pandemic, interview pandemic. So first thing is that I just give some 1 or 2 tips, right? Number two, learn data programming for whatever it's worth. Go to Udemy, this Demi, that Demi, whatever Demi. Go and figure out how to use R, Python, whatever. You don't have to be an expert in it. Just get to know what it is about and how much suffering is there in it. That's all, enough. Right? So that when someone asks you, you're like, pata nahi, out of syllabus, etc. Finally, one thing, right, around being ethical. I think the biggest thing is to be ethical to oneself. Which is, are you engaged completely in what you're doing now? Right? So there's a story that comes to mind. With that, I'm done. So there was a Chinese businessman who flew all the way down to Thailand, who wanted to meet a very well-known Buddhist monk. And monks have a lot of, faculties, right? You don't have to go and tell them, right? They'll figure out why you come and so on. So it was a large gathering, 10,000 people. So this guy lost all hope. He said, "Acha, this is gone. All my international flight ticket money all gone." Right? So he waited outside. But while he was waiting, he said he found a broomstick there and there were a few dry leaves. So he started kind of just brooming it because he had half an hour more. The taxi was coming. He was to leave. And suddenly he turned around and he found someone tapping his shoulder. It was the same monk, for whom 10,000 people had come. Looked at him and the monk just gave him an idea. He said, "Whatever you're doing, give it all you've got." Right? And he went away. Before this guy could say, "Thank you very much, I truly appreciate," none of that. Monk was done, he left. This guy used that advice, and in 10 years, he became one of the most prosperous businessmen in his community. Right? So my invitation is, if you are here, are you fully engaged with what's happening here? Right? And that's the difference when we meet students, when we meet freshers. In 5 seconds, we can make out if this person is engaged in life doing things because they love to do things, or they're just moving along like a dry leaf in the wind. It's very easy to figure out. Right from the presentability, right? I mean, I've seen some data analysts who are really good in their job, right? But first I've got to figure out his face. Because his face is hidden in like some haircut and beard and all that. I'm looking for his face, I'm googling his face. Right? So, I mean, make peace with it. Right? If you want to run your own business, do whatever you want. But if you're getting into an interview for working with someone else, make yourself wanted there. Right? The other person is not there to accept your idiosyncrasies. Right? So start building yourself. You're not a customer of the college. Bottom line, you're not a customer of the college, you're a product of the college. Just like you can't go to the gym, say, "I paid this money, now trainer, you work out, I will sit here and drink Coke." Doesn't work. Right? You got to work it out. Right? The gym is giving you an opportunity. So stop becoming a customer. Thank you.
It's interesting to say your job will be taken by AI, your job will be taken by somebody will do it. It's not possible. What you can do, what it does is it makes your job simple. Somebody from the panel already said that instead of if you were to calculate in the olden times, you will calculate manually. Great grandfathers, yours. Then your grandfather on calculator. Your father is on, let's say, Excel. Maybe you are on another setup, or some of the rules of the Excel where you can do it, VLOOKUP and those things where you do it faster. So the point is, and everybody said that, technology aids the life. It is not taking the jobs. Tell me, how many of you, there is not a single person in this country, I think, a family, not a person who does not have a phone, smartphone at home. Please tell me, if there was no technology like this, I think you were not wrong, there were landlines, okay? Fixed phones. In fixed phones, very few families had fixed phones. If you know, your parents must be telling, you have this, you have a smartphone. In our time, we had to go to the neighbor's place and all. The point I'm making is, certain, let's say, criteria, certain procedures or processes, you can input inside the AI. The rest is HI, human intelligence. So AI can never take, because we say artificial, HI is the human intelligence which makes that. So job is not going to go anywhere if you are going to be company secretary. The reason being, there's so much responsibility for an organization. If you're a CA or you're a CS, there's so much to do. And all AI cannot do for all organizations. It's not simple. Okay? You have different sets of challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Puchita. I'm in final year of my bachelor's program. Along with my bachelor's, I'm also pursuing a company secretarial course. Recently, I read in a magazine that AI is capable of taking over the company secretarial job as well as the chartered accountant job. So, what will be my future with CS and what should I do to remain as a CS?
Is probably 5 years back, a vendor contract would take 1 week to close because the person has to read something, he has to vet every paragraph, send it to his manager reads it, send it to the head of finance, head of legal. So now it's so quick that probably he can do 10 contracts in a day because it's so quick, because he can just put whatever he wants in ChatGPT, get whatever is required, and then amend it based on the company guidelines what we have. So I think AI has just enabled us to do our work faster.
Tax and BBA. If an employee is an asset and he wants to walk away from the company, how would you retain him?
The fear of losing something will come when you are not updated yourself, upgraded, right? So the point here is, in CA or CS, there are laws, right, that you need, that keeps changing, not so frequently though, fortunately, just like IT, but you need to keep yourself upgraded. You need to, by heart, you need to understand all the rules and regulation, do's and don'ts, right? As long as you are aware of those, if you are, well-skilled individual, then no AI technology can take away your job. Even ChatGPT has a limitations in terms of the information, whatever we as a human being are feeding there, up to that. Beyond an extent, beyond I think 2018 or something, I don't remember the exact year, they will say we don't have data beyond this year. Or even if you search on certain topic, it gives a warning. Please feel free to edit as per your convenience. Every time you give a question, it gives a different answer, right? So AI will give only what is available, what is being already fed. But then when it comes to your job, as long as you are upgraded yourself with whatever the latest laws or whatever is there, people would always want to reach out to you first over even trusting technology or the Google. They might want to verify, but they would always want an expert advice because it has an element which an AI cannot give, which is a human touch, right? You understand that person, you know what the person is looking for, and then you give them a solution. And that is where your role becomes stronger over any technology. I hope I answered your question.
Probably in different scenarios. So first, I need to determine if you are a good employee or a bad employee. Okay, so we have something called performance appraisal process, which gives you, like how you have marks here, we have a rating scale over there. And then that rating scale gives us certain indicators whether it's worth retaining this person. Okay? Like I said, all of us are replaceable at some point in time in any organization. So that's the reality, what we have to live with. And I think today Ashish also mentioned that along with hiring, we need to also mention about firing, because this is a reality today. Okay? So I've done hundreds of firing. So that doesn't mean that I'm emotionless, because it can happen to anyone. It can even happen to me. So all of us are replaceable. We live with that fact. Yeah. So like I said, different parameters, data comes into play. One, your rating, your past performance on whatever projects you work on. That's very important. And if you've been consistent performer, and the company always has certain budgets where we need to work around with. We cannot go beyond the budget. So I think post-COVID or during COVID, we had this season where people used to throw papers, say I have 200% hike, 300% hike. And we were shocked, like, where on earth is this happening? Am I still living? And I myself used to think as HR, should I still stay back here or will I get 100% if I go out? But then, something in mind keeps you back at your workplace. And this was a phenomenon across. And the same people who went out with 300% hike reapplied after 6 months because they lost their jobs. because we also have certain constraints to work with. So we live on a budget in every organization, and if you're beyond our budget, we don't tend to retain. So yeah, that's
Another question.
We like to limit for the present, and Ketana, I read back to you, the organizers, and we want to close this. And you can of course interact through your college, the principal, through email, whatever questions you have, a great idea you have, you can share that. Let's do that. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
What Rosina was saying was more from retaining in terms of looking at it from a benefit standpoint and reward standpoint. Again, what we assess as HR is that there is something called as an engaged employee and a disengaged employee, right? And engaged employee is connected, aligned with the organization, connected with the organization. So we can figure out that, right? Like we can figure out, like even in this, in this crowd, some of you might be engaged, some of you are already disengaged, right? So we do a lot of pulse in that way, and these days companies also come with a lot of tools to track, like is it a red kind of a alarm or an amber or a green? Green is like probably this person is not a risk, amber is like halfway risk, and red is like a big risk. So we do that and try to do some initiatives around that. So that way, but of course, if a person still wants to leave, they leave. That's a different thing. But this is what we try to do at least.
A little different perspective. While your question is very much right, you should add one more question for yourself as to how do I make myself retainable, right? When you question yourself, you'll automatically start getting an answer, and then everything else will follow. And as an organization, we don't have to answer that question to you, because then you will become an asset for an organization. So you should ask yourself, what should I do to become an asset for the organization, right? And so that should be your ultimate goal.
Thank you, Kirtana. That was a truly remarkable session. Thank you, Atul sir, for making this session towards a meaningful conclusion. And thank you all the dignitaries for your wisdom and insights that have illuminated this session, leaving us inspired and better prepared for our future endeavors. Now I'd like to call Mr. Aditya to deliver the vote of thanks.
Ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Aditya Kumar Singh from second year PB. As we come to the end of this HR Conclave, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you for your active participation and insightful contributions. The discussions and interactions over the past few hours have truly been enriching, and I believe we all have gained valuable knowledge and perspectives that will shape the future of human resources. Now, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. S. Naga Siddharth for taking the time to participate in our HR Conclave. Your extensive knowledge and engaging insights set an inspiring tone for the event. Now, I would like to call Professor Ashok Memon sir, HOD of Management, to present the token of gratitude to Dr. S. Naga Siddharth sir. My admirable thanks to Mr. Gulshan, whose unique experiences and practical wisdom added immense value to the discussions. Your willingness to share expertise has left a lasting impact on our students. Now I would like to invite Professor Lakshmi M.R. ma'am to present the token of gratitude to Mr. Gulshan sir. To Ms. Rosina Jose for bringing a fresh perspective to the HR Conclave. Your thought-provoking ideas and the real-world examples resonated well with the audience. Now, I would like to invite Dr. J.B. Janardhan sir, HOD of Language, to present the token of gratitude to Ms. Rosina ma'am. Mr. Atul Sharma for your dynamic presentation and the lively interaction that followed. Your passion for HR and commitment to excellence were truly inspiring. Now, I would like to call Ms. Kavita ma'am to present the token of gratitude to Mr. Atul sir. Knowledge and passion for HR with the college community. I also want to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of NSOM as well as the period department of Dr. NSAM First Grade College, who has put together this conclave. I thank our beloved principal, Professor Raghavendra R.
And thank you all for being a part of this.
Commitment to creating a platform for meaningful dialogue and learning has truly made this event a success. Thank you once again for being a part of this incredible.
Giving a lot of energy.
The overall arrangement and the welcome has been very good so far. The campus is amazing, and the students have been very energetic in terms of interacting in the session. And the most important thing is the thoughtfulness in terms of the topic, which is more what is the trend right now. I think that's a good topic to cover for the young minds. Thank you.
And congratulations for the successful event. I'm sure you would have put in a lot of efforts, and it's clearly seen in making this event successful. So congratulations to each one of you. I could clearly see the kind of professionalism that you guys are holding right from now. So I can imagine by the time you get into the real corporate world, you would be a different personality altogether. So keep it up. Each one of you are already having a very good communication skills, at least to those who have got an opportunity to come forward and speak or question. I could see them already are confident. So keep up the good work. You already are thinking about digital world or future of corporate world. So you already have taken that first step. And what I would just like to say, keep learning, keep doing what you are doing now. I think as an institute also, you've done a great job by training them in how to organize an event like this, because that gives them a real-time exposure also. So hats off to all of you, and congratulations on a successful event. Thank you.
The thing about Nitte as an institution, and I mean all the colleges, is the culture, which I like very much. In some or the other way, I'm associated with NSAM, and this is the first time I'm coming to the first degree college. What I like is your culture, the way you people treat people who are coming to you for the first time, or the second or third or fourth time, number one. Number two is, patience is very important sometimes. So patience and listening is something which I observed personally, and that's a good quality, To understand what the other person is saying is very, very important, and then you can put in your point of view. So what I like amongst all of you, being at a young age, you have that zeal for the learning, understanding from the people who are experienced, coming from the corporates, in what way they can give you something, so that whatever you can take it, you take it with you, whatever you want to keep it with you, you keep it with you, and whatever you want to experiment on is also your wish. So thank you very much, truly a great opportunity, and especially, when you deal with the young minds, you know what the next question will be. And therefore you are always learning from others. Thank you.
I was very excited to be part of this discussion, because your education institute is very focused to give you guys that kind of exposure which will help you in the future. And it is also, I think, a good initiative for students to attend this, to realize that we don't come from a different world, we also pass from colleges. And right kind of exposure is required for you guys to reach at a particular stage. We are accessible on LinkedIn, all of us. Feel free to ping us, stay in touch, and I would look forward for more, similar sessions with your institute, which is, so focused on giving all the kids a good exposure. Thank you.
For your presence today. Our experts promise us a day filled with valuable discussion and transformative ideas. We are thrilled to have you all here. Let's extend welcome to Ms. Shruti for the welcome speech.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Venugopal sir, who is the director of Nitte School of Management, for providing us an opportunity to conduct the program in association with all the institutions of Nitte. So Nitte means it's a great institution, as Atul Shah has mentioned. The culture of this institution, the students of this institution, because of the students, we have #1 grade in the society. So with this this type of HR conclaves will give more insights to our students. We will be waiting for more number of HR conclaves, and we will connect with all the HRs. We got more than 50 HRs, and we will be connecting in future, and will make the students' career to the great extent will take the students' career. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all.
Sir, to the conversion. It was a nice gathering. We had an opportunity to be hosting this, the HR Conclave. My heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you, sir, madam, for being with us here today. Because we are so privileged, because we are the BBA students, they're just growing up, and this interaction was really useful for us. They will have the zeal, they will have the determination. They want to really do something different, they want to connect with you. Probably this was a beginning. We thank you all. You were all beacons of knowledge, and we know that we have just touched the tip of the iceberg. You didn't want to exceed, didn't want to talk much technical stuff. You have put it at the simplest of terms to us. We thank you. We would like to look forward and interact with you more, sir, madam. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Actually, trying to escape from the role, but that's not what HR people do, right? They come front, they take initiatives, and then they do. And I would like to thank Principal Sir and to support us, and my HOD Ashok Sir, and even Kavita Ma'am, who actually made me do this this moderator, because I was really nervous, and I'm still nervous actually. Maybe I felt like I just spoke it up, and so much of stuff, and maybe people didn't pick it up actually. But I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I'll look forward for more such opportunities and be the best, and also take my friends, also push them to take part in this, and also shape all our skills and knowledge with me. So thank you everyone.
Actually, it was a very informative session. We are actually privileged to meet such HRs from top companies. We learned many things from them. Actually, the interaction session also went very good. We all were educated, so thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot.
I think right from where we stepped out from the vehicle and until we went to the first campus, and then I didn't know, it was quite a journey. But then, they ensured that we were comfortable until we reached here. And I think the hospitality is seen in every student. And I think you need to continue the spark in you and carry this forward in your corporate life as well. Yeah. Thank you.